Okay, let's continue the functions. Functions make things simple. How consider the two lines of code in block 1 and block 2. The procedure for each block is identical. The only thing that is different is the variable names and values. For example, I have like a code a1 is equals to 4, b1 is equals to 5, c1 is equals to a1 plus b1 plus 2 static a1 plus static b1 minus 1. So if you know how this will be executed, you must know the PEMDAS procedure, that is parenthesis, exponent, multiplication, division, addition and subtraction. So this will execute in this manner. Then I say print c1, so whatever the value is, I will, because so now the c1 is not, print c1 was not in the original code, I place it here so that we can see the c1 value. So if c1 is less than 0, we will see over here, then it will say c1 is equals to 0. If it's negative c1, then it will say make it equal to 0, else make it equal to 5, and c1 was 48, so it's not less than 0, so it will make it 5. So this is code block 1. And then block 2, a, b, and calculation block 2, a2 equals to 0, b2 is equals to 0, a1 and a2, instead of a1 b1, the values have been changed, and c2 the same procedure is used, print c2 the same way. And then if c2 is less than 0, there is a branching and condition, c2 is equals to 0, make it equals to 0, else if it's not 0, like it's not less than 0, means it's not negative, so make it equal to 5. So execute the block. So you see the result was -1, c2 was -1, and it made it equals to 0. Okay, so they say that we can replace the lines of code with a function. So instead writing these lines of code every time, you can simply create a function, because the a2 plus b2 plus 2 static a2 plus static b2 minus 1 is same. All we need to change the value of a2 b2 and we will get the result. So instead of writing separately, we can define a function, and that's the beauty of the function. And these are the reusable codes. Define a comma b, these are the two parameters that is passed. C is what we want to do and the operation. If c is less than 0, which is if it's negative, then make it equal to 0, and else if it's not negative, it's either 0 or positive, make it equal to 5 and return c. So we have defined a function. C, it does not execute, it just stores in your memory, local memory. So it shows how it's working. You can see the visualization in your labs as well. So if I say like a1 is equals to 4, b1 is equals to 5, and c1 is equals to equation a1 b1, and what's the value of the c1, so equation function is called, so it will directly go over here. Okay, so for the clear visualization purpose, let's work it with it in the Python editor here. And now this way. Okay, so visualize it, define the function, it will directly jump to the next line. It will not execute the body of the function unless it is called in the main program. So a1 is equals to 4, you see here, b1 is equals to 5, you see here, and equation a1 b1. So a1 b1 4 5 is taken an input parameter as ab. Next equation is called a function, so it will directly jump to the equation. Then ab is taken as 4 5, and then c is the operation that is done. C is equals to 48. Obviously it's not less than 0, so if will fail, then it will go to the else. Make c is equals to 5, so c has been made 5, and return c, whatever the value of this thing, return it as a c. And then c1 is the output of this function, so c1 is 5, so return c1, so it return c1 the value. I hope you guys got a better understanding. And the same thing for the second block, and you can work it at your own. Okay, so let's move forward. Predefined functions. There are many predefined functions in Python, so let's start with the simple ones. print is a predefined function, so let's suppose it's already predefined in the Python. You don't need to tell the Python how to print, it knows it because it's predefined. Album rating is this thing, it's a list, and then print album settings, so it will print out the list. And if I use the sum function already defined, so sum album ratings, so it will give me sum. And if I say length of the list or tuple, so which is len parenthesis, so length, and in parenthesis I have used the list, so it gives me 8, which is the length of the function. Now using if else and loops in the function, so the return function is particularly useful if you have if statements in the function when you want your output to be dependent on some condition. So define type of the album. Type of album is the name of the function. Artist, album, and air release are the 3 parameters. So whatever the artist name is, whatever the album name is, and air release, these are the 3 parameters. And type of the function, it will give you the type of the function. What is meaning? It will be either modern or it will be the oldie one. So print artist, album, and air released. If air release is greater than 1980, then return the value modern, else return oldie. Okay, so x is equals to type of the album, x is equals to type of the album, so it's calling the function Michael Jackson, Thriller, and 1980. So these parameters will be passed into the function and result will be deduced. See modern because what it does, so let's execute, let's visualize it here. So function define type of this thing again, and now x is equals to, in the main function, x is equals to type of function. So this function is called execute. Next, from function directly comes to x is equals to type of function. It says in the type, using type of function, check the output for Michael Jackson, Thriller, and 1988. So Michael Jackson is taken as artist, album is Thriller, and release date is 1988. So first of all it will print as it is. Then if the air release is 1980, greater than 1980, even in this case is 1988, so return modern. Okay, it will not execute the else, it will directly print x, else x is modern. Okay, I hope you got the concept. Now moving forward, we can use a loop in a function. For example, we can print out each element in the list. So for example, define print list with the variable with the argument the list input parameter, sorry, and print list is the name of the function. For element in the list, so for each and every number element of the list, print element. Okay, so let's suppose I just copy it here. Python, I added this code, okay, and this thing, so the function is stored in the memory, and then I say this thing. So it says implement the print list function. Print list, whatever the print list is, one is an string, and then one the main ABC, and however this is a list, and print list is used. So visualize it. So next, define function directly come to print list. So list is 0 1 2 3 4, there are like total 5 elements starting with the 0. Define for element in the list. So for each and every element, for this first one is 1 as a string, so print out 1. Second one 1 again, then the man, then this thing ABC, then hour, and finished. Okay, this is how we use the for loop to print out the functions.